You're listening to Planet Chaos. And now, here's your host, Brandon Chaos.
Alright, welcome back to Planet Chaos.
Hi.
It's National Metal Day today.
And
So-
it's also Veterans Day as well, so...
So,
Okay, all
I
I'm
don't care
saying
about
is...
I don't care
it's-
about Veterans Day.
Okay. People, if you kind of do know today's Veterans Day, please thank the people who have served in our military. Just throwing it out there. At least, thank them for it. Or at least pay respects for those who did. Just throwing it
Some
out there.
people can, I'm not going to though.
Well, I'm going to. I have friends and family in the military, so I'm just saying, please thank those who have.
But don't do that on Labor Day.
Yeah, don't
That's
do
a
it.
misconception that
Don't
people
do it
have.
on Labor Day. Do it today on Veterans Day. Just think.
On Labor Day, you're supposed to thank those who work in labor unions. That's
Oh.
what that day was established for. So
my dad,
thank
he
the
worked
United
50
Auto Workers or the
Steel
steel workers.
workers.
Those are the people you thank on Labor Day.
Yeah, today's the day for the military. Thank them.
mom who worked in a
Yeah.
This is the only holiday that is dedicated to the military.
Yes.
No
thank
other
them.
holiday is.
Thank them.
Even 4th of July. 4th of July is not a military holiday.
It's the day we celebrate, country, but
The day that they signed the Declaration of Independence. We didn't even become a country that day.
all right.
It was several
So-
years later that we became a country.
Listen, American history is not my forte. World history is. So.
And Memorial Day is for anybody that has passed away,
Yeah.
military or not.
Just saying.
I actually saw somebody post on President's Day to make sure you thank a vet. I'm like, it's for fucking President's Day. Thank the Bush family for that, okay?
Seriously.
Oh.
Goddamn.
Speaking of presidents,
Mhm.
the election spectacular was fun. So yeah, we're gonna have Barack Obama for another 4 years.
And you know what? I saw this. There is a website called Text from Last Night, and I actually saw this the next day. I saw on there that it said, I have a feeling next year we're going to be in Colorado smoking some weed at a gay wedding. Which, you know what? Considering how Barack Obama got reelected for a second term, I have a feeling that's going to happen. Looks like I might have to make a trip to Washington, Colorado, make some friends out there who are gay or lesbian, go to their wedding,
Well,
smoke a little bit of weed.
I was
Good.
I was looking at people who plan on running in 2016. These are people who have already established presidential exploratory committees for possible presidential run in 2016.
Okay.
Some of them may surprise you. Some of them you're like, okay, duh. For Democrats, though, of course, Joe Biden, our current vice president, is planning to seek a nomination. I don't know. The guy's failed at running for president 4 times already.
4 times?
Yeah, his first time he ran was in 1984.
Okay, that was before my time. 2 years before I was born.
Another possibility is Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York.
Oh.
Hillary Rodham Clinton,
You know what, though?
who actually
I
she
hope
stepped
she
down from Secretary of State this week.
Did she?
Yes, she did. It's because she's planning to run for president.
I would vote for her.
I would not.
Oh, I would. Don't tell me we have a woman.
Uh,
If we have a black president, why not have a woman president?
Rahm Emanuel.
Who?
He's the mayor of Chicago. He was once the White House chief of staff under Barack Obama.
Well, let me see if he plays.
And you know what? I have no problem with a woman being president. I just don't want that woman to be president.
What, would you rather have Jenna Jameson as your president?
If it meant titties and beer for all, fuck yeah. Al Franken, comedian, U.S. Senator from Minnesota. Yeah. Who else do we have here? Big names. There's a whole lot of unknowns here. Janet Napolitano, the Secretary of Homeland Security, former governor of Arizona.
You know what, though? I think Condoleezza Rice should run.
That's what we got for Democrats, for big names. For Republicans, of course, Michelle Bachmann plans to run again. Jeb Bush.
No. I don't need another Bush. But you know what? I don't need another
You know what?
Bush in
It's
the
sad.
presidency.
It's sad that we have this many.
But he actually may be a better Bush to be president. But no, I don't need another.
It's
That
sad, but
could
people
go-
will vote for him. I think that's even sadder than the fact that he's going to run. Chris Christie, the governor of New Jersey, he plans to run.
Chris Christie. I don't mean to laugh at that. At that name.
We have Mike Huckabee, who has failed a few times. He's the current governor of Arkansas.
Every time I hear Huckabee, I think of I Heart Huckabees, that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I do too.
John Huntsman Jr., the ambassador to China, former governor of Utah. John Kasich, the current governor of Ohio. Of course, when he ran for governor in Ohio, I actually kind of predicted. I said he's setting himself up for a presidential run. I kind of saw that one coming. Ron Paul's son, Rand Paul. He's the current senator from Kentucky. Sarah Palin, former governor of Alaska.
That shit. I don't need somebody making a remark. I could see Russia from my backyard. Good for you. I can see Michigan from the top of Millennium Force at Cedar Point. So, and Detroit too. If I go to Put-in Bay on top of Perry's Monument. So good for you.
Rick Perry, governor of Texas. Rob Portman, senator from Ohio. He's the former director of the Office of Management and Budget. Condoleezza Rice.
See, I wouldn't mind having her run.
I don't know about
No,
Condoleezza
no,
Rice. I have mixed feelings about her.
I think she would be a smart choice to run.
Marco Rubio, senator from Florida. Paul Ryan.
Where's Mark when you need him? Okay, continue.
Rick Santorum, U.S. senator from Pennsylvania, ran for president this year. And of course, the Donald.
No, fuck that
And
shit.
you know what? I was all about Donald Trump running this year. And then he has to go and lash out at Barack Obama getting reelected. And he spoke too soon too, because one of his tweets he said, it's bullshit that you could win the electoral vote but lose the popular vote. But then Obama ended up winning the popular vote, so sorry.
You know what?
And there's only been 4 presidents elected without winning the popular vote. And, of course, one of them being George W. Bush. Where was Donald Trump when that happened? Of course he wasn't going to say anything because Bush is a Republican.
You know what, though? He is a businessman, so maybe he would be the right choice. Maybe, having somebody who has that business background running the country.
I would love to see Donald Trump do something with this country because
Maybe get
people
us
put him
out
down.
of
They're like, oh,
debt.
he filed for bankruptcy twice, but you know what?
Still,
He's
he
back
made
to
it-
making money
yeah.
again. Okay, so apparently he knows how to come out of an insane amount of debt and be back on top.
Yeah, at least
If he could
knows-
do that to our country, that'd be fantastic.
And there's nothing wrong with claiming bankruptcy because sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Exactly. Our country is in bankruptcy right now. And Gary Johnson has said that he's planning on running again. He's not discouraged at all that he didn't do too well. But you know what? He's done better than a lot of third-party candidates have in the last few elections. Probably the most successful third-party candidate has done was in '96 when Ross Perot ran. That was his second time running, and he was very successful. Gary Johnson has now become the most successful third-party candidate. So, and then of course Jesse Ventura plans on running as an independent.
I wouldn't be surprised if he does well.
You know what? I like
Wow, dude. Wow.
I like a lot of what Jesse Ventura has going on, but I think he's more concerned with fixing everything other than the economy. And I think it would be nice if we could have co-presidents.
Well, that's why we have the president and vice president.
Well, vice president doesn't do shit. They're in charge of energy consumption. That's it. That's all they do. If we could have somebody who is in charge of, everything but the financials, and then have one that's in charge of just the financials. I could see Donald Trump being just in charge of financials, Jesse Ventura in charge of everything else.
Well, maybe we need somebody like Jesse Ventura to go out and kick some, overseas asses that need to get kicked.
The guy is a badass.
Yeah.
And he's not, he may be a conspiracy theorist, but he's not one of those crazy conspiracy theorists,
Yeah, I think he's not one of those crazies.
Yeah. And if he does run, I would like to see Alex Jones as his running mate. They would definitely
Who's Alex Jones?
definitely have my vote.
Who's he?
Radio talk show host, right-wing conspiracy theorist. He was the first person to come out and say that 9/11 was an inside job.
Oh.
Yeah, he was the first person to come out with the conspiracy theories on that.
Okay.
Lost his job at Fox News over it because they're like, you can't be bashing a Republican on air. What the hell's wrong with you?
What the hell, dude?
Everybody knows I'm doing a radio show, but they're still blowing up my phone.
Mm.
Jeez.
At least it's on vibrate.
True.
Listen, I had one minor misstep with that one
That wasn't
show.
even at you, Lisa.
I had one minor misstep.
Calm your shit. That wasn't at you.
Oh, whatever. He had his phone on too. Minor misstep.
All right, so we're gonna get into some music right now. We play some Mushroom Head. The song's called Womp. I just stumbled upon a list of 10 rock stars who have found Jesus.
Found Jeebus.
This list may shock some people. Some of the people that are on this list, they're some of them are still actively playing non-Christian music and playing some of their hits that some may find to be satanic in nature, even though they're not. Number 10, Mike Farner, who's the guitar player from Grand Funk Railroad. This one kind of surprised me a little bit. I wasn't aware that he had found Jesus, but Nico McBrain from Iron Maiden. He's the drummer from Iron Maiden.
All right.
The Number of the Beast guys. John Davis from the band Superdrag, 90s alternative band Superdrag.
Never heard of them, but okay.
He actually put out 2 solo Christian records after his band broke up and then came back to the band. Dan Spitz from Anthrax. Yeah, that was kind of a shocker. Bob Marley.
Yeah, he was all about Jesus.
I never knew that he was a
Yeah,
Christian
I didn't know
there.
about that.
Whenever he sang Jaws, he was gone.
Jin Hyung.
Who's he?
He's the first ever Asian American rap artist to be signed to a major record label.
Huh.
Yeah. Rick Derringer. Yeah. And of course, the one everyone knows, Brian Head Welch from Korn.
Oh yeah.
Actually, he's going to be playing with Korn
Really?
at Rock Am Ring.
Huh.
Yeah. He's going to be playing 2 shows with Korn there, which I see that as a possibility of him coming back to the band, which would be really cool.
Yeah.
Dave Mustaine, lead singer and lead guitarist for Megadeth. It's kind of a shocker there. What does it say about Dave Mustaine? Mustaine hit it big not once but twice in the heavy metal world, serving first as an early member of Metallica and later as a co-founder of the band Megadeth. His musical skills are profound. One influential book named him the greatest metal guitarist of all time. But there was a dark side to his fame. He battled an alcohol addiction which got him booted from Metallica. He dabbled in witchcraft. By the early 2000s, Mustaine was sick of touring and tired of his fellow bandmates and generally down on his life. As Mustaine later told in an interview, looking up at the cross, I said 6 simple words, what have I got to lose? Afterwards, my whole life has changed. It's been hard, but I wouldn't change it for anything. Rather than go my whole life believing that there is a God and find out there isn't, then live my whole life thinking there isn't a God and then find out when I die that there is. Interesting, I didn't know that. And here's the biggest shocker.
Alice Cooper from
Alice
Jesus?
Cooper.
What?
Alice Cooper, of all people. Alice Cooper thrilled teenagers and horrified their parents with his wild stage shows in the 1970s featuring boa constrictors, mock executions, and plenty of androgynous ambiguity.
Okay.
It was shocking stuff at the time, but it earned Alice Cooper, a.k.a. Vincent Furnier, induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Fast forward almost 40 years, and many people are just as shocked to learn that Cooper is a born-again Christian and has been for many years. Cooper admits his initial draw to Jesus was mostly out of fear. I did not want to go to hell.
Okay.
And speaking of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
Okay.
now we did an episode a few months ago where we talked about artists that should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and
remember that.
artists that are in there that shouldn't be. Well, then a few months ago on that metal show, Eddie Trunk went off on a tangent about rock acts that should be in there that aren't. And it seems like the Rock Hall people are finally listening to what the fans are saying. Now, they just recently announced who is nominated for induction this year. Some, of course, I don't agree with being on the list, but then there's others that have been passed over time and time again that finally deserve some credit. We have the Paul Butterfield Blues Band, Chic, Deep Purple, Heart, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, Albert King, Kraftwerk, the Marvelettes, the Meters, Randy Newman, NWA, Procol Harum, Public Enemy, Rush, and Donna Summer.
Okay.
So finally, Rush, Deep Purple, and Heart are starting to get the credit that they deserve from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And for the first time ever, they are letting fans vote on who gets in.
Okay.
First time ever. Fans are able to go to the website, which is rockhall.com.
Okay.
You can click on inductees, and it will take you to the list of this year's nominees. And then, where is it at on here? Is it under Get Involved? No. There is a place on the page where you can actually vote. I actually voted myself.
Of course you would.
Of course. But yeah, I definitely urge as many people as possible to go and vote. This is the only way that we are, as the fans, are going to get our voices heard. They have, for the longest time, they had a small committee in charge of, nominating who gets in, and then an even smaller committee that finally picks out of those nominees who actually gets in. And the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, being that it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, has kind of been ignorant to some of the true big stars of rock and roll, really. I mean, there's a lot of great acts that deserve credit that haven't even been nominated, like Kiss.
Yeah.
You know, and then you have Madonna, who's in there. How the hell is Madonna more important than Kiss? You know? So finally, the fans are able to vote on who gets in, which I think is a wonderful thing. Those are the people who are supposed to be in charge of who gets in.
Yeah.
Anymore, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has been there basically just to get ratings. You know? So they try to get as many different type of viewers every year. Instead of just putting the important ones in there, they're trying to encompass as many genres as possible. You know? They'll get pop and rock. They'll have one metal act. They'll have, you know, disco, hip hop, and
They're trying to diversify.
they're trying. Well, they're trying to get as many acts as many diverse acts each year as possible. You know, if you look at who got in last year, you have Guns N' Roses, metal; Red Hot Chili Peppers, alternative; Donovan, folk; Laura Nyro, folk; Small Faces, old school rock; Beastie Boys, hip hop. So you have a little bit of diversity there. And then the year before, Alice Cooper, hard rock; Neil Diamond, jazz; Dr. John, psychedelic; Tom Waits, folk; Leon Russell, country. So if you look, I mean, if you just look at each year, you know, ABBA, disco; Genesis, progressive rock; the Hollies, psychedelic; the Stooges, punk. You know, it's just a diverse group every year, and that's not what the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was established for. It was established to pay tribute to the biggest stars in rock music. You know, it's become more like the Pop Music Hall of Fame than anything else. You know, because they're going for what's popular, what's going to get the most viewers.
Well, I gotta make their money somehow.
But it shouldn't be about making money. It should be about paying tribute to the greats.
Well, yeah, but you also have to realize that, you know, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but don't forget, it can't be just mainly rock, metal.
But that's what it's there for, you know? Because you think about it, if it weren't for, you know, Kiss and Alice Cooper, there would be no Madonna. Madonna wouldn't exist without those artists pushing the limits before she came along. You know, Madonna was all about, you know, she was a gimmick. From day one, that's all she was a gimmick. You know, see how far she could push the limits. And at that time period, with it being the MTV era just coming about, then, you know, she was able to visually appeal to people more so than she would have, you know, in the decade prior.
Just for my love. It's all because of that.
But if it weren't for shocking artists before that, such as Kiss and Alice Cooper, then she never would have even had a career. You know? Same goes with Prince, who's also in there. You know, so why should they get in before these artists do? You know, and Rush really, you know, they set the bar pretty high for progressive rock bands. You know, a lot of progressive rock that you listen to, it's all, you know, it's mainly guitar based. Like, oh man, listen to that guitar player. And even though Rush has a great guitar player, he kind of gets overshadowed by the great rhythm section that they have.
Yeah.
You know, they've got the best bass player and best drummer in the world, and people forget about the amazing guitar player. And there's really maybe one other band in history that has had the same type of rhythm section, and that's Primus.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that, you know, Rush is way overdue to be in there.
Yeah, well.
You know, having, you know, their rule is it has to be 25 years since your first album to get nominated. And, you know, it's been 40 years since they put out their first album. I'd say they're long overdue. Same with Kiss. It's been 40 years since Kiss put out their first album. They're long overdue as well. You know, at the time that Madonna got in there, she got in the first year that she was eligible. And I don't think that's fair to other artists who have been more successful and have been around a lot longer.
Yeah. Well.
I know I keep using Madonna for an
Yeah,
example,
what is it
but
with you? Say, do you have a
well,
thing
for one, I
that?
can't stand Madonna. You know, her music is trash. She's terrible, and like I said, it's all 100% gimmick. She doesn't care about the
Especially
music.
her cover of American Pie. I'm sorry, but that was just not a good
She shouldn't
cover.
have done
No.
That was not a good
No.
cover.
No, it's an
I mean, she's been doing
amazing
the
song.
same record every time she puts out an album for the last 30 years. It gets old, you know? I think the only thing that was slightly different that she ever did was Like a Prayer,
Yeah.
you know?
I did like her song Broken, though. I do like that one. Because it was kind of
Mm.
creepy and eerie. I think
You
that
mean
was.
Frozen?
Yes, that's what I meant,
I
Frozen.
don't think I'm familiar with that one.
Frozen came out in the late 90s. It's
Yeah.
off
It's
the Ray
also-
of Light era.
Yeah, I was listening
Yeah.
to a lot of Biscuit then, Deftones.
Limp Bizkit could kiss my ass.
I was kind of oblivious to the teen pop that was out that time period, you know?
She was more adult alternative at that point.
Everything I've heard by her has been teen pop. And
Ray
I'm
of
sorry,
Light
but
was
when you're
all adult alternative.
I'm sorry,
She
but when
got
you're in
back
your
to teen
50s
pop, like,
though,
music.
you shouldn't be doing teen pop. You know, that's why I kind of have a lot of respect for Kylie Minogue. As she's gotten older, her music has
I remember her.
her music
From,
has
like,
matured.
way back when.
Yeah, her music has matured a lot as she's gotten older, and you know, not to that point where she's doing crap music like a lot of artists, you know, like Green Day. You know, their music has matured as they've gotten older, but their music has totally become crap. You know, I was just sampling some songs off of Uno and Dos recently, and it's
Disappointing.
oh,
Green Day is one of my favorite bands, and it's really
I-
disappointing.
I have no idea what happened to Green Day.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. It just seems like, you know, these two new albums that they're putting out, and then their last album, it's just everything sounds like Warning.
Like what?
Warning,
Oh.
which was by far their worst album.
I don't think it was their worst.
Then what would be Green Day's worst album? I would say 21st Century Breakdown.
I think American Idiot.
The thing that American Idiot has over 21st Century Breakdown is
I like a lot more.
that it's
on-
angrier.
I like a lot more on
Yeah.
21st Century Breakdown than American Idiot. There are a lot
See,
of good songs on
A lot
21st
of the older Green Day fans like myself favor that album because it has that anger that they have.
There's some of it,
you know,
but
from,
it seems
like, that
forced. It
early-
seems forced. It doesn't seem.
It
Genuine.
see to me it doesn't seem forced because, you know,
American
as
Idiot doesn't seem genuine to
well,
me.
the American people can relate to, and that's why it doesn't seem forced. You know, people are like, yeah, fuck Bush. You know, he is an American idiot. You know, we get where they're coming from.
I
You
liked
know,
that song, and there were a couple more songs that I liked. Off of
Holiday was a very powerful song.
But it sounded just like, I don't know. All of their other singles besides American Idiot all sounded the same.
It
off
didn't.
Of that CD. Yes, they did.
Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Wake Me Up When September Ends.
I hated that song.
Well, regardless, I think it was a more powerful album.
Okay.
I think it was more culturally significant than 21st Century Breakdown. With 21st Century Breakdown, I think they were just trying to recreate that energy that they had. And even if you look at the time period in which 21st Century Breakdown was released, you know, it was exactly 4 years after American Idiot, another election year, another, you know, what the general people would consider to be an important election year. You know, it was, you know, this black kid from Chicago versus this old white dude that has been in politics for 50 years. You know, a lot of people found that to be a very important election, so Green Day comes out with this other album that's very politically oriented, and to me it just sounded to me like they were trying to recreate American Idiot.
They
Even
had
the
a lot
first
of
single.
songs that reminded me of Dookie. 21st.
I didn't hear that. Like, most of the songs to me sounded like the slower stuff from Nimrod or even Warning.
Not the slower stuff. I'm talking about the more upbeat ones, like Know Your Enemy and Peace.
Know Your Enemy was-
Jesus Nowhere. Those were really good songs.
Know Your
to
Enemy was...
me.
It was really kind of like a rip-off of their own song, American Idiot. It was
But
like
it's not.
they were doing American Idiot all over again.
But that's one of the songs that I liked off of there.
That was actually the only song I liked off of 21st Century Breakdown.
You need
Was
to listen to it again.
I've listened to it plenty of times. I will pass. I'm not saying it's terrible. I mean, if you want to compare it to Uno and Dos, it is an amazing album. You know? I really don't know what Green Day is trying to do with this new stuff. I mean, the one song that I listened to had kind of a disco sort of thing going on with it.
Yeah, but
You know?
what are they thinking? I don't know. What
It's
they're
just,
thinking.
it's not Green Day.
They're, I don't know.
You know, I understand that when you're in your 40s and you're a punk rocker, it's kind of hard to...
do anything different.
Well,
They're
to-
trying be
to
more
stay-
diverse. They're trying to still be significant, and I think they're going in the wrong direction.
You look at a lot of punks, like, you know, Ian MacKaye from Minor Threat. He went on to be, you know, the godfather of emo. You know, when the hardcore scene kind of died out and he started Fugazi, you know, they were like a seminal emo band, started the whole emotive hardcore scene in Washington, D.C., which has now become, you know, pussy rock, as I like to refer to it.
Always gotta badmouth emo.
Well, initially emo was great when it first started, but then when it became mainstream in the early 2000s, it's kind of when it went to shit.
Well, you can thank Chris Carrera for that.
But then you have bands like Bad Religion, who have sort of stuck with the same template they had, you know, No Effects, Social Distortion.
Right.
But at the same time, these are not punk bands that had an immense
commercial
amount of
success.
commercial success. Because if you want to look at Green Day and diss on Green Day for the direction they've gone into, you gotta do the same with the Offspring.
Yeah.
Because Offspring has done the same thing.
They
Like,
have.
I listened to the new Offspring album and I thought I was listening to a Foo Fighters album. That's what it sounded like to me. You know, it's cool if you want to mature and change your style, but you're gonna lose the punks. You know, and that's one thing you gotta be okay with. And the people who are the mainstream pop punk fans, you're probably gonna lose them too. You know, but like I mentioned with Bad Religion, No Effects, they didn't have commercial success, so they're able to make, you know, the same kind of music with that same level of anger and still be significant, whereas Green Day and the Offspring can't.
Right.
You know, Rancid, you know, they had a slight amount of commercial success
They
in the
did.
90s. You know, they had one major hit, but being that one hit wonder, they were able to crawl back into the underground and still, you know, make the music that was
They wanted
important to
to
them.
make.
Yeah, and I like Rancid. I like the newer stuff they're putting out too.
I like Rancid. And I like their side project with Travis Barker.
Oh, Transplants, yeah. I actually really liked Goldfinger too. They had one or two hits.
You with your gold
They were
digger.
too ska though. Like they experimented
Don't
way
even
too much
fuck
in
with
ska.
He always fucks with ska.
Oh
That's
yeah.
why I blast ska in his car all the time.
Rancid dabbled more in reggae
They did.
than ska,
They were.
and Tim Armstrong is a huge hip hop fan, so he experiments a lot with hip hop. And that's sort of like what the Transplants were supposed to be.
Well, shit happens. Well, I gotta say, shit happens.
Every time you sit on the toilet.
Okay. Alright, whatever.
D12 had a song called Shit Happens.
D12.
Oh wow.
Oh man.
Oh wow.
Wait, you don't like those blue and yellow purple pills?
I like that song. I bet it's on a mix CD somewhere. I
Oh,
know.
probably.
Bizarre's verse from that, hilarious. The first time I heard it, I was laughing so hard I was in tears.
I saw that on the box, I think.
Oh my god, box. Shit.
Yeah.
You said box.
Okay. It is.
There's some great new music coming out soon that I've been reading about. New Deftones is set to drop here real soon.
Really?
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. The new Punk Goes Pop just came out this past Tuesday.
Have we listened to any of that?
No, we haven't. I haven't had a chance to listen to that yet, but I did sample some snippets of some of the tracks on there. It's definitely interesting what's on there. I don't know if it's going to be like the last one. Not as good as some of the previous ones, so I don't know. I think this one might actually be a bit of a departure even from the last one.
5? What?
This is pop. Yeah, this is Punk Goes Pop 5. Yeah.
What the fucking shit is that?
You have Memphis Mayfire doing Grenade by Bruno Mars. Did get to sample some of that one. Some of them I think are just too...
Close to the original.
Well, no, like the keyboard hooks of course are going to be identical to the originals. And that's...
You have to have
I kind of think that, like a lot of these... the fans refer to them as hardcore electronica. Bands like Asking Alexandria and Attack Attack. I don't know what I would classify them as because they're not industrial.
No.
They're like metalcore with dance breakdowns in them, you know? And I don't agree with those bands being on these compilations because the keyboard hooks sound identical. And then there's just too much screaming, I think. You're listening to it and you're like, what fucking song is this, you know? I did get to hear Mayday Parade. Mayday Parade with Vic Fuentes of Pierce the Veil. They did Somebody That I Used to Know. And, you know, I hated that song for, like, the first few months that it was out. I recently, like, listened to it a little bit more. And, like, I gotta say, this guy, Gotchi is his name?
Gautier.
Gautier?
Where the fuck did you get Gautier? It's Gautier, yeah.
Gautier, okay. I thought it was Gotchi.
There's
I don't
no CH in there, it's Gautier.
Guccier?
Shut the fuck up. It's
What is it?
Gautier.
Gautier, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
He's Australian, right?
I don't know.
Something like that?
I don't know.
Well, I like listening to him. He's got a bit of a like Peter Gabriel
Yeah.
or Sting sort of thing going on.
Yeah.
I kind of dig his voice. That song, I think, though, is just really weak. I think,
It's a boring
but
song.
yeah, but musically and
It's his
vocally,
first
he's like
single, though.
got a real like Peter Gabriel sort of thing going on, which isn't too bad. We Came as Romans did a cover of "Glad You Came" by The Wanted. Aren't they like a boy band or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're a British boy band, aren't
Oh, I don't know.
Like Moths to Flames did a cover of Some Nights by Fun. And I'm not familiar with that song at all.
The video, I saw the
Don't
video.
you think that if you're gonna do a fun song, wouldn't you do their big hit? That
they? But Some Nights was kind of big.
Yeah.
was it? I don't
Yeah.
know. See, I don't know that one. I know they're what that was that song called.
We Are Young.
The bar
Yeah,
closes.
We Are Young.
We Are Young.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that they got a throwback on this one. They haven't done that for a few. They have Billie Jean, Breathe Carolina doing a cover of Billie Jean.
I did like Fall Out Boy's version of Beat It, I think it was.
Yeah.
I did like that version.
Chris Cornell did an acoustic version of Billie Jean on his last
Really?
studio album. Yeah, it was really good.
Chris Cornell could do anything.
Yeah, that is true. He could.
Forever the Sickest Kids, who I didn't even know that they were still around. They did We Found Love by Rihanna and Calvin Harris. A band called Issues does Boyfriend by Justin Bieber. I'm not familiar with that song.
It sounds like a Justin Timberlake song.
Yeah,
it?
it does.
Let's see, the Bieber song that I know is the one he did with Ludacris. That Baby, Baby, Baby song.
Oh, he did that with what? Oh,
Yeah, Ludacris was in it.
fuck that shit.
There's another throwback on here. The Maine.
What?
The Maine with Adam Lazzara from Taking Back Sunday did Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
I don't know about all that.
Haven't had a chance to listen to that one yet.
I don't know about all that.
Crown the Empire does Payphone by Maroon 5.
You know what though? I did like that song when it first came out, and then they just kind of overplayed it.
Next two songs I've never heard of. Craig Owens does "Paradise" by Coldplay.
Paradise is the newest single off of.
I've never heard it.
Coldplay's newest.
I haven't heard any of the new Coldplay album.
It's actually not that bad.
The Word Alive does "Mercy" by Kanye West.
I see. Every time I hear Mercy, I think of Duffy when she did that song. Yeah.
A band called Secrets does "Ass Back Home" by Gym Class Heroes, which should be kind of interesting.
Yeah. It should be, but you know, I
like covers a lot, and so I really like the Punk Goes series, but I wish they would get, more diverse. This is the 5th installment of the Punk Goes Pop. 2 years ago they did the Punk Goes Classic Rock, which I really liked because I'm a huge fan of classic rock, so I really liked it, and there were some good covers on there.
You know what,
there was the Punk Goes Crunk, which was really good too. Yeah.
But you know what though? Actually, come to think of it though, a lot of the songs like Punk Goes Pop, a lot of the songs I heard when I was working at Spencer's. Like a lot of the songs I didn't even know about until they got redone until I was at Spencer's. Travis Barker played drums to. What song am I thinking of? Lollipop by... Who did that song?
Lil Wayne?
No, Lil Wayne.
Well, yeah, Travis Barker does a lot of...
He did the drums
He
for
does
that.
a lot of he does a lot of rock
He
remixes.
did a remix of that. And then there's a band that actually did a remake of
Yeah,
Lollipop.
Framing Hanley did a cover of
Yeah, and
Lollipop,
I actually
yeah.
like that version a lot better than the original. But every time I hear the original, I always think of Hookah. But, whatever. But that's...
Travis Barker does a lot of remixes.
Yeah,
you can go
and
to
I actually
his...
saw the video.
You could
Still
search for Travis Barker remix on
Yeah,
YouTube.
I think it was that one that I saw.
And
him
this is actually the
doing.
first one I ever heard him do.
This one was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But I actually saw the video this one.
But he does like Total Rock remixes of them. He's got a whole YouTube channel. He does the videos and everything.
Yeah, and you know what though? And when you actually listen to that whole entire thing, and even just that snippet right there, you can kind of tell it's kind of a sign of almost of a true musician because he was doing it. I mean, it sounds like it belonged right in the song too.
Yeah.
He's a great drummer.
Yeah, he is. He's a fantastic drummer.
I love when bands have diverse musical backgrounds.
He's not even the original Blink-182
No, he's not.
Even on Enemies.
Yeah.
But you know what though? With Blink-182, I heard somebody was telling me they went to go see. I was supposed to go to this concert, but I ended up not doing it. I heard the Blink-182 is great instrumentally live, but sucked vocally.
Well,
live.
yeah,
Like, they weren't that
yeah.
great
Tom DeLonge is
vocally.
terrible live.
He is.
But
I heard him.
Blink-182.
But yeah, but like they were great instrumentally live, but just when it comes
Sorry,
to
go ahead.
Blink-182 is a pop punk band, but Travis Barker is a hip hop drummer. I love that idea. And when you listen to especially some of their slower stuff like I Miss You or Adam's song, Stay Together for the Kids, hip hop drumming all the way. And another good example of diverse musical backgrounds, you have Avenged Sevenfold, the Rev, who was their drummer that passed away a few years ago. He's a ska drummer, and you could hear it in their music.
A lot of syncopation.
And plus, he uses a firecracker snare, which is very popular in ska music. And not only was he a ska drummer, he used to sing in a punk/ska band.
Yeah.
What did he say?
I can't remember what they're called. They were never signed. But he was also a singer in a band called Pinkley Smooth with Zachy Vengeance, who's also in Avenged Sevenfold. So it's really cool when you have bands like that that have different musical backgrounds, you know. And I was in a band like that once, Leviticus. We all had different backgrounds. You know, our guitar player was a thrash guitarist. Our rhythm guitarist was more of a hip-hop guitarist. You know, he played a lot of effects and stuff. And then our drummer came from like Southern rock, and he like even on some of our heavier stuff, he played with brushes like they do in country music. And I came from a power metal and hair metal background, and you could tell when you listen to the music just how diverse all of our backgrounds were. And I love bands like that.
It makes it more musically interesting.
Well, yeah, because one song you've got like 5 different styles in there. It's really cool.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I loved about the Transplants, was you had the 2 guys who were well known for being in punk bands, one of which played mainly hip hop beats, and then you had a rapper, and just the way that, you know, everything sort of meshed together was definitely very different. And Travis Barker was in a ska band once. The Aquabats. Did you know they have a kids show now, the Aquabats?
No.
Yeah,
No, of
London
course-
watches it.
I was gonna say, of course.
Yeah, London
yeah.
watches it.
Huh.
I was like, that's a band that was popular when I was in high school. And I remember that they had a hit called Pool Party.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It
I
was
don't
from like
remember
97, I think.
that at all.
Yeah.
I remember some of the video now that you said that.
Yeah, Pool Party.
Yeah, I don't remember that whatsoever.
I was little, but I listened to it when I was older.
Yeah. I don't
Fucking
remember
ska.
I like
Real Big Fish has a new album.
that. Really?
They did a cover of
Listen to it.
the last track on there is a cover of The Promise by When in Rome,
Really?
which most people your age would know that song from Napoleon Dynamite.
Wait, what song?
The Promise by When in Rome.
Oh, yes.
Newfound Glory did a cover of it too on
I
their
don't
last
know
cover
that
album.
song.
It's an 80s song.
I was gonna say I
I don't even know the words.
saw Napoleon Dynamite. I just don't remember that song at all.
I saw Napoleon Dynamite once,
Yeah, I don't.
but Newfound Glory did a cover of it on their From the Screen to Your Stereo Volume 2 album. I wonder if they're ever gonna do a Volume 3. Actually, you know, I don't like Newfound Glory, but I like those covers that they did.
I
It was
like
really
Newfound
cool.
Glory. I don't love them, but I like them.
But they did 2 EPs that were covers of popular songs from popular films.
They did a really good cover of, oh, I can't even remember.
King of Wishful Thinking was
Yeah,
pretty good. Is
that's-
that the one you're
that's
thinking
exactly the
of?
one I
With
was
Patrick
thinking
Stump
of.
from
Okay.
Fall Out Boy?
Yeah.
I
That's
did.
my favorite of their covers. I listen to that once in a
No.
while.
What was kind of cool was the last one that they did, they had vocalists from other popular punk bands that came in, like Adam Lazzara from Taking Back Sunday, Max Bemis from Say Anything, the lead singer of Cartel, Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boy, Chris Carrabba. Lisa Loeb actually did an appearance on there
I think she's so
doing her song Stay from Reality Bites. Lisa Loeb is very hot, yeah.
She has. I kind of base my style.
I'd put my penis in her butt.
I bet you will. I bet you will.
And she doesn't look that bad now either.
Reliant K just put out an album of all covers that I got a chance to listen to.
Some of them were good.
You know, I
Some
was-
words.
You know, it's funny, like, I was actually kind of curious to hear it, even though I really don't like Reliant K, even though they're from around here. They're from Canton, Ohio. They're a Christian band. They're pop punk. I don't really get into the whole pop punk thing. Not my scene. But I was like, I gotta listen to it. It's all covers. The album's actually called Reliant K is for Karaoke. Clever title.
Okay.
A lot of very diverse covers. Some of them, you know, very good because his voice fits. Others, they kind of had to change up too much to make his voice sort of fit. I like the ones where he's singing in a lower key than what he normally sings in.
Yeah, he sounds better singing in a lower.
Yeah, definitely. But they did "Baby" by Justin Bieber. "You're the Inspiration" by Chicago, which I actually liked a lot. "Africa" by Toto, which I also liked. "The Distance" by Cake.
Yeah, that one wasn't very good though.
No. "Motorcycle Drive-By" by Third Eye Blind. "Here Comes My Girl" by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. "Interstate Love Song" by Stone Temple Pilots.
I like that song.
"Everybody Wants to Rule the World" by Tears for Fears. "Surf Wax America" by Weezer. "Girls Just Want to Have Fun" by Cyndi Lauper.
You know what though?
And "Inside of Love" by Nada Surf, which is Nada Surf is an indie band that I really like a lot, and that's like one of my favorite songs by them. And I actually was not too disappointed with the cover.
There was a show. I only saw one season of it, and I liked the who won. It was called, what was it? The Sing Off, and it was all a cappella. And there was a group, Street Corner Symphony, did "Everybody Wants to Rule the World," and I actually liked how they did it because all these groups did their own take of a song, and I think that song was during their Guilty Pleasure Week.
When was it? Like the mid 2000, like 2003, 2004, acapella music started getting big for some reason.
Really?
They started doing
Oh.
covers of like famous
Yeah.
songs,
Like,
emo songs. A bunch of emo bands came out with like acapella versions.
I actually have one
I
on
remember that.
Yeah,
on my phone.
I kind of got into that for a little bit.
It was a mix-up of I'm Jason Mraz, "I'm Yours," and "Somewhere Over the Rainbow."
Oh, I've heard that.
It's a
One
Hawaiian.
of my old friends played that.
It's a Hawaiian name. It's like Israeli, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing his first name right, but it
It
starts
wasn't
with the name.
Talib Kweli, was it? "Somewhere Over the Rainbow"?
It might have been how you pronounce his last name, but his first name starts with an I though.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
What was I gonna say? I can't remember what the hell I was gonna say now.
'Cause you fail.
Oh, there was an acapella. I listened to this acapella version of some college choir doing "Cute with That E" cut from the Team.
Isn't that "Taking Back Sunday" song?
Yeah. That was one of my favorites of the whole acapella thing. And Ben Folds did a acapella thing with a chorus behind them. Not Ben Folds
Interesting.
5, but just Ben Folds.
Yeah. I can deal with Adam.
Ben Folds.
Yep.
Ben Folds 5 is actually back together.
I'm happy about that.
For probably about 4 years now, I'd say, there's been a lot of hype surrounding this new No Doubt album.
I heard
The
snippets.
single came out and it was still hyped. The album has come out and I haven't heard shit.
I heard snippets of their album thinking, I like their new single. I hope they're... No, I do not like their album whatsoever. It's
I
too...
still need to listen to it. I
It,
think
so-
there's
it sounds like a cross between
I like their single.
Rock Steady and Gwen Stefani's first solo album. It's back
sounds
to it's like that whole like dance hall reggae sort of thing.
It sounds
That's what
too
they
much.
always wanted to do.
That's
And
well, yeah. They always
Rock
want to do
Steady
more.
was the first album they really got a producer who could give them that sound.
They recorded the majority of that album in Jamaica.
It just sounded a little too dance clubby for me. I
Well,
just don't.
it's
I didn't
that.
like
That's
it.
what they wanted to do. They,
I
their
know, but
biggest influences were like
like it.
Madness, dance hall
Yeah.
reggae sort of stuff, and that's just not what I'm into. I liked their pop stuff. I really did. Like the Tragic Kingdom, Return of Saturn
Return
sort of
to
stuff.
Saturn was completely different from anything that they did, though. But they've always had, from their first No Doubt, which was completely ska, to Tragic Kingdom, which had ska elements, but it was more like rock. And then there was
It's weird. You
rock
listen
versus Return to Saturn.
you listen to
Rock
Tragic
Steady.
Kingdom, and the first song Spiderwebs is very horn heavy, And it seems like as the album goes, like there's less and less horns on each track.
And then the last
And then it kind of kicks when you get to like the last two songs.
Yep, they put the horns back in there.
It's weird. And then Return of Saturn had very little horns in it.
Yeah, like Bathwater was one of the only ones that had
I
horns.
liked
I
Bathwater.
love that song. And they had a couple of creepy songs on Return of Saturn, like 6 Feet Under and New.
The whole
I like
album
that.
was about
Yeah.
her wanting Gavin to propose to her. She even said so.
Ex-Girlfriend was kind of a throw on the Bush song, Ex-Girlfriend.
Well, yeah. Well, didn't they break up for a minute? And that's when that
Yeah.
song was written. Yeah.
And the video for Ex-Girlfriend was actually taken, they took the idea from an anime, a really brutal anime called Kite. And it was like bloody and gory, and that's where they took the whole video for Ex-Girlfriend from.
That's interesting.
Mhm.
I never knew that. I don't know. To me, like No Doubt, they kind of started falling off as far as like holding my interest. You know, I think their best material was the Beacon Street collection. That was like, to me, that was some of their best material. The song Greener Pastures. You know, just some of their most experimental too. You know, as they were experimenting with different sort of sounds, and it was the last. No, actually, it wasn't the last album they did with Eric, because Eric played on Tragic Kingdom.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but he quit before the single was even released.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to see No Doubt, get back into that sort of music, but I don't think it's possible. I don't think
Eric's
that's
a really good
where they want to go.
keyboardist. Why did he? I just don't understand why he.
He quit for his day job where he was making more money.
Aw.
He's an animator for The Simpsons. That's where he makes all his money at.
Whoa, shit. I really, honestly, why the fuck not?
You gotta think at the time that he quit, like No Doubt was nobodies.
Yeah.
They were nothing. So
They already had
You know.
an album out that didn't get like any success.
yeah, and
at
then
all.
Beacon Street Collection
Yeah.
came out and
Lost
failed.
A very minor single, and nothing else even charted.
I think they may have played Trapped in a Box a few times on 120 Minutes, and that was like it. And then when Tragic Kingdom came out, it kind of picked up a little more as a hit because MTV started playing it, MTV2 started playing it.
Yeah.
I don't know. When they came out and did that cover of "It's My Life" by Talk Talk, I liked it because it seemed like it was more back to Return of Saturn sort of sound. But then they come back and it's just, I don't know. Not into
I
it.
still want to listen to it. I really do. I want to give it a chance because usually when new things come out from old bands that I like, I don't even listen to it because I'm afraid of being disappointed.
All right, we're gonna take a quick commercial break and then we'll be back with some Hotel Diablo in Psycho, California. Okay, it's time for the top
Yes.
5 lists.
Yes.
Alyssa, are you ready for your top 5 early metal icons?
Yes. And no criticizing this time, alright? Because you
I will.
do. Number 5, I have Jimi Hendrix.
Okay.
Number 4, I have The Who. Number 3, I have Blondie. Number 2, The Runaways. And number 1, I have Iggy Pop.
It's more of a punk icons list.
And
The
so
Runaways
far-
I could see a little bit because Lita Ford was in the Runaways, so I could see that one a little bit.
I can see that Who too.
Hendrix, The Who, I could see that.
Okay, well,
Don't understand how Blondie and Iggy... Well, Iggy Pop, as far as stage performance goes, he was very metal, I guess you could say.
hey, this is my
How did
version.
Blondie get in
Alright?
there, though? How's Blondie metal?
Well, why the fuck not? Alright?
It's not a good enough answer, but okay.
What the fuck ever.
I have at number 5, Rob Halford,
Who?
the lead singer of Judas Priest.
Okay.
Number 4, Ozzy
I
Osbourne.
knew that was going to be on there.
Number 3, Alice
I knew
Cooper.
that was going to be on there.
Number 2, Lemmy Kilmister,
Who?
dude from Motorhead.
Okay.
And at number 1, Ronnie James Dio.
Okay.
What, you don't agree with my list?
Whoa.
You got something to say about my
Really?
list?
Really? Why am I not surprised you went that way with... Whatever.
What way? It's top 5 early metal icons. Those guys are all early metal icons.
Well, I'm allowed with my pick then. So shit.
All right, what are your top 5 heavy metal films?
Wayne's World 2, Airheads, Almost Famous. This is Spinal Tap, and at number 1 I have Tommy.
You know, I almost put Airheads on my list, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I wanted a horror movie on there somewhere, so I had to go for a horror movie too. You know. So number 5, Wayne's World. Number 4, heavy metal.
Okay.
Have you ever seen that one? You got to see that if you haven't.
Nope.
It's amazing. At number 3, Strangeland.
Never saw it.
Oh, that's great. Dee Snider. It's a horror movie. It's fucking amazing. Number 2, Anvil. The Story of Anvil.
Never saw it.
And number 1, This is Spinal Tap. That is your top 5 for this week. For next week, what are we doing? Next week is Satanism. That's right. Next week, our theme is going to be Satanism. Top 5 songs about the devil and top 5 films about the devil. Are you excited about that one?
I guess so, yeah. Might have to be.
And I swear, if anybody puts To Hell with the Devil by Stryper on their list, they're getting kicked right in the taint.
Well, we gotta make sure you let out country now.
He already knows. He was the first one I told him about that.
Okay, because I was gonna say he has a tendency.
They did the same list on that metal show, and Eddie Trunk actually put that on his list. To Hell with the Devil by Stryper. Yeah.
So to say, if you're gonna fire me if I put that on there, you're full of shit for fire. You have another thing coming for firing me.
Satanism, yeah.
Smack
The
you.
list you could find on the website, brandonchaos.weebly.com, along with all the other lists from past episodes. We're going to get back into some music, keeping with the theme of National Metal Day, as we have not been doing with our conversation, but we'll be doing it with the music that we're playing. What shall we play?
When have we ever stuck to the topic on hand?
I
Whenever
don't think we ever have, really.
Yeah, so I don't want to hear it.
Oh, one of our early metal icons. We're going to play some Ozzy Osbourne. The song is called Over the Mountain. 15 interesting facts that you probably didn't know about dreams. I don't know if anybody out there is into analyzing dreams and whatnot. There's a lot of people that are into that.
Yeah.
Number 1, you forget 90% of your dreams.
Well,
I have
yeah.
actually heard that. I've heard that you could actually remember more of your bad dreams than your good dreams.
Well, yeah.
They're more memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blind people also dream.
Well, why wouldn't they be able to dream?
Because they can't see anything.
You're such a dick for saying that.
Why am I a dick for saying that? It's true. Most people would assume that because they can't see anything physically, that they can't see anything in their subconscious either.
Well, why
But
would
the
they?
fact is that they could actually see things in their subconscious.
Oh, yeah.
Number 3, everybody dreams. I don't know what they mean by that, but it says every human being dreams except in cases of extreme psychological disorder. If you think you are not dreaming, you just forget your dreams. In our dreams, we only see faces that we already know.
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
Not everybody dreams in color. A full 12% of sighted people dream exclusively in black and white. The remaining number dream in full color. Studies from 1915 through the 1950s maintained that the majority of dreams were in black and white. But these results began to change in the 1960s. Today, only 4.4% of the dreams of under 25-year-olds are in black and white. Recent research has suggested that those changing results may be linked to the switch from black and white film and TV to color media.
Huh.
How interesting is that? Well, because doesn't it seem like a lot of times when you dream, your dreams are almost like a TV show or a movie?
Yeah.
So maybe that's what it's like for a lot of people. So that's why like black and white dreams happened back then. Number 6, dreams are symbolic. If you dream about some particular subject, it is not often that the dream is about that. Dreams speak in a deeply symbolic language. Whatever symbol your dream picks on it's most unlikely to be a symbol for itself. That's why they have all kinds of books out there dedicated to researching dreams. Number 7, emotions. The most common emotion experienced in dreams is anxiety. Negative emotions are more common than positive ones. Which kind of goes along with what I said about how you remember your bad dreams more than your good dreams.
Then I probably should have had a shit ton of...
You can have 4 to 7 dreams in one night. On average, you can dream anywhere from 1 or 2 hours every night.
I remember. If I have
Well,
two
I know
dreams
this.
in
You
one night, I
only
can
you
remember.
only dream in REM sleep, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
what the last 2 hours of your sleep. So, but I've had some where I wake up and I remember like bits and pieces, and I'm like, that doesn't seem like it's all one dream. It doesn't flow like
Yeah.
one continuous story. So I guess that makes sense. You could have 4 to 7 dreams, and what I'm remembering is like bits and pieces of those different dreams. And you wake up and you're like, well, that was like it wasn't bad. But you're like, I was fucked up. Like what just
Yeah.
happened? And you're remembering bits and pieces. Yeah. Number 9, animals dream too.
Well, yeah. Why? There have been...
I've noticed like sometimes when you see like an animal like shaking or twitching in sleep, it's probably having a bad dream. Number 10, body paralysis. Rapid
Heard of
eye
that.
movement sleep is a normal stage of sleep characterized by rapid movements of the eyes. REM sleep in adult humans typically occupies 20 to 25% of total sleep, about 90 to 120 minutes of a night's sleep, which is pretty much what I just said. During REM sleep, the body is paralyzed by a mechanism in the brain in order to prevent the movements which occur in the dream from causing the physical body to move. However, it is possible for this mechanism to be triggered before, during, or after a normal sleep when the brain awakens.
Dude, there have been times where I've woken myself up by moving an arm or moving, a
Have you
leg.
ever woken up though and you couldn't move?
No.
Like it took like a few minutes for you to actually be able to move.
No.
That's like what they're talking about. Yeah. Dream incorporation, number 11. Our mind interprets the external stimuli that our senses are bombarded with when we were asleep
There
to make them a part of our dreams.
have been times where I've, had my alarm go off and that song that's currently on the radio is in my dream. Yeah.
That's what happened to me when I woke up the morning of 9/11. Like I'm hearing the news stuff going on the TV, and like it's incorporating into my dream. And I
Yeah,
woke
I've
up
had
and I
that
saw
happen
the
to me.
news story on TV.
Yeah, especially with...
It's happened to me a
Yeah.
lot, and that's probably the most memorable for me. Men and women dream differently. Men tend to dream more about other men. Around 70% of the
Really?
characters in a man's dream are other men, and not necessarily in a sexual way. On the other hand, in a woman's dream, it contains almost an equal number of men and women. Aside from that, men generally have more aggressive emotions in their dreams than the females do. And that makes more sense because men are typically more aggressive than women anyways.
Yeah.
Precognitive dreams. Results of several surveys across large population sets indicate that between 18 and 38% of people have experienced at least one precognitive dream, and 70% have experienced deja vu. The percentage of persons that believe precognitive dreams is possible is even higher, ranging from 63 to 98%. So, precognition also means future sight, refers to perception that involves the acquisition of future information that cannot be deduced from presently available and normally acquired sense-based information. So, you're basically having premonitions in your dreams. And a lot of people do believe that your dreams foreshadow future events in your life. That's more something that's more, believed upon in circles of people who believe in fortune telling and stuff like that. So, Crystal, you're probably into that. You believe that your dreams can see into the future?
That's. I don't think it happens as often as most people would think.
Okay. Number 14, if you are snoring, then you cannot be dreaming. This fact is repeated all over the internet but I'm a bit suspicious whether it's really true, as I haven't found any scientific evidence to support it.
Why wouldn't you be able to dream while you're snoring? Like
Because when you're snoring, you like, I don't know, maybe you can't go into body paralysis.
But you can still dream. Though.
I don't know. Number 15, you can experience an orgasm in your
I
dream.
can believe that.
You can not only have sex as pleasurable as in your real life while dreaming, but also experience an orgasm as strong as a real one without any wet results. The sensations felt while lucid dreaming, touch, pleasure, and etc., can be as pleasurable and strong, or I believe even stronger, as the sensation experienced in the real world.
Well, yeah, I can believe that.
Now, something strange I will say about myself as far as this fact goes, I've never had a wet dream.
Oh, I kind of want to claim BS.
No, I never have. Like, I've never woken up and been covered in cum. Never.
I want to claim bullshit on that.
Something strange, though, too, about some of my dreams is I've never had sex in a dream.
What?
There's been plenty of times where, like, I get into a dream and I come really close, and it's like right as it's about to take place, boom, I'm awake.
Huh.
Yeah.
I want to claim
And I've actually had
About sex a lot.
Oh, I do too.
I do
too.
And you know what's funny? My dreams are more violent. Like my dreams, most of my dreams are normally about, it's almost like watching an action movie, or what my dreams are about.
Okay.
So maybe I like action and adventure more than I like sex.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
But it's funny,
Okay.
like I went to a fortune
Okay.
teller once, and she actually told me that, because she went to analyze my dreams, and so I was telling her about this whole sex thing. Like I'm really close to, you know, like I'm with the girl. As soon as we get naked, I wake up. It's like almost every single time. And she said it probably means that I have a fear of intimacy.
Well.
Yeah, that's what the fortune teller said. So,
Well.
but yeah, I've never gotten off in a dream ever.
Okay. Alright.
Have you?
Yeah. I have, actually.
Is it just as pleasurable as it is in reality?
No.
Not really.
Because according to this,
Probably.
it can be as pleasurable as it is in reality.
Mm,
So see, that's something I didn't know, because I've never experienced that in a dream before.
not really.
Definitely interesting facts about while you sleep. I didn't know that kind of stuff about dreams.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, though. I have had plenty of lucid dreams. I've had lucid nightmares before that are just completely fucked up.
Well, yeah.
Sometimes, if I'm having a dream and I realize it's a dream and I wake up, I will purposely make myself go back to sleep to see if I'll go back into the dream.
Yeah, I've been in a lot of dreams where I've been chased by serial killers.
What? Jason
Yeah.
Voorhees coming after you?
I have. In fact, there was one where I can't remember who it was, but it was a famous serial killer broke out of jail and was chasing me and my friends.
Was it Charles Manson?
No, it wasn't Charles Manson, because he never killed anybody.
I just made people.
He made other
You
people
never
do it
know.
for him.
You
No,
never
I
know.
can't remember who it was. It might have been Richard Ramirez.
Mm.
Something like that. Either him or John Wayne Gacy. It was one of the two. Even though, like, John Wayne Gacy is dead, you know. But yeah, me and my friends were chased by a serial killer, and I was the only one that survived.
Yeah.
But like I said, most of my dreams are like action movies. And in my day-to-day life, I crave action and adventure, and I'm an adrenaline junkie. I am. I love adventure. I like things that are dangerous. I always have.
Okay.
But that's it's interesting.
Okay.
There's another one, 12 cool facts about dreams. It's basically going to be the same stuff.
Like that first one.
Like, pop-ups need to get the hell off my computer. Fuck you, pop-ups. Anyways, Have you had any interesting dreams lately?
Not really.
No.
No.
What about you, Crystal?
You know, I had a really weird dream this morning and I can't remember what it was about. I remember waking up scared.
Yeah. What's strange, like the last couple days, I've had like random people I haven't talked to in a long time that have messaged me on Facebook or texted me and said, "Hey, I had a dream about you," and it's just something totally stupid that I'm like, "Wow, I thought it would be like kind of cool."
Yeah, okay. Sure, we'll go with that.
Anyway, so we're gonna play some more music, keeping with the theme of metal. Here's some Godsmack with Greed. So why is yawning contagious? Anybody know?
Why don't you tell me about it? All about it. Why don't you tell us all about it?
Contagious yawning gets at the ancient, deep, and subconscious roots of empathy and social bonding.
Really?
Yeah. You didn't know that?
Now I do.
So apparently if someone around us is yawning because they're tired, we're feeling empathetic towards them for being tired, so
Oh, my...
we
my
yawn with them.
ass. Okay.
Did you know that people with developmental disorders don't do contagious yawning?
What? I
Yeah.
kind of find that hard to believe.
It's true. Studies have shown that people with developmental disorders, they don't do it. They don't, like, they yawn, but not, they won't yawn because you yawn,
So...
Yawning might eventually help doctors diagnose developmental disorders. The work could also lead to a better understanding of the subtle ways that people communicate and connect. I find that fascinating. Like, they don't exactly know 100% why it happens that way, but it's some sort of, you see someone yawn and it triggers, an empathetic nerve in your brain.
So
and
people who, like, are autistic don't yawn.
no, they don't.
They yawn.
Like, they yawn, but they
Yeah.
won't. They don't contagiously yawn.
Okay.
Weird, right? But it's because it's it's a social disorder. So
It's a social disorder.
Yeah.
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
autism. Yeah, it's a social disorder.
No, Never mind. I was thinking of...
Oh no, the contagious yawning.
No.
It's because of empathy and social bonding.
Oh, my ass.
Let's try this. He's trying to hold back a
No.
yawn right now.
No, actually, I wasn't. I'm not even gonna yawn. So...
Crystal
I'm not
yawn.
I didn't yawn, so apparently, you might have
Maybe my
disorder.
yawn wasn't believable.
Yeah, no, nothing.
No, not
No,
believable
no,
enough. Okay.
No. No, sorry, shit ain't gonna happen like that.
Here's Mudvayne with Not Falling. Okay, it's about time to wrap up the show. Make sure you tune in next week. We'll be discussing Satanism. We'll have the top 5 songs about the devil, top 5 films about the devil. I'm also going to do my own personal top 10 greatest witch hunts.
Yeah, you're on
Which
your
would
own
be,
with that. You're on your own
The
with
top
that.
10 artists that got the most shit and got the biggest
Yeah.
association with Satanism. So I'm going to do that too. On the 22nd, it's Thanksgiving Day. We're having a Misfit Thanksgiving dinner here in the studio.
That is true.
We're going to have everybody in the studio hanging out, talking. It's Thanksgiving. We're going to have a big old Thanksgiving Day party here. It's going to be fun. Make sure you guys tune in. It's going to be top 5 Thanksgiving films, top 5 songs about food. I'm also going to do my year in review and top 10 albums of 2012, as well as the top 10 worst songs of the year. Also, that date, the 22nd, it's also the 15-year anniversary of the death of the lead singer of INXS, Michael Hutchence. So I've got a nice little tribute for him that I'm going to put together, which will take up the first half hour of the show.
Oh, shit.
We'll get the sad stuff out of the way at the beginning of the show. So the first half hour will be dedicated to the late great Michael Hutchence with a nice little tribute for him. On the 25th, we've got top 5 guitar duos and top 5 political propaganda films. The political propaganda films we were supposed to do earlier and never got to it, so we kind of had to push it back. On the 2nd of December, we're going to be discussing Winter Stupidity.
Oh, shit.
That day we'll have the top 5 guitar solos and top 5 non-Christmas winter films.
That might be a little hard for me. And
Oh, it is a tough one to do, but it should be fun. On the 9th of December, we're going to be doing the best and worst of 2012. And we'll have the top 5 really good albums with really bad titles. And the top 5 Tom Cruise films that would have been better had Tom Cruise not have been in them. So basically, it's a good film, but Cruise fucked it up.
Okay.
And on the 16th, which coincidentally is my mother's birthday, I'll have to spend earlier in the day with her before I do the show. The 16th is going to be the final show before the world ends. So... You know, there'll be no more Planet Chaos after that because the world is going to end on December 21st, sadly enough.
Zombie oh my god, apocalypse.
Well, if the world
world
happens to not end, then on the 23rd we will have our Christmas spectacular with the top 5 Christmas songs and top 5 Christmas films.
Okay, let me tell you what though, the world should have ended like 5 times already. Just saying.
Twice just last year.
Oh. Twice, yeah. Okay, wait, really?
That crazy guy predicted it was going to end in April, and then said, I was 6 months off. So it's just, yeah. On the 30th, the day before the last day of the year, it's going to be year in review, top 20 songs of the year, and top 5 films of the year. And everybody will be doing their own list. Should be interesting. And then January 6th, the first show of the new year will be the 2013 preview with the top 5 most anticipated albums of the year and top 5 most anticipated films of the year.
Oh, shit.
So it's going to be... We got a great season coming up. A lot of fun stuff to do. A lot of great topics to get into.
Oh, shit.
And,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright.
We got... You know, we're running out of ideas. We're going to have to get more creative for season 4, aren't we? Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah. So, I guess it's the end of the show.
Closing time.
Gotta say goodbye.
Last call.
Don't have to go home, but you sure as fuck can't stay here. Have a great week, everybody, and we will see you next Sunday.
Good night. Good night. Good night. It's time to say good night. Good night. What more is there to say? But good night, folks. I'll be back next week. And good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are.